We're Masechta Shabbos, Lamed Daled, 34. We're in the sugya of Reb Shimon Bar Yochai. So when Reb Shimon ben Yochai was saved from being in the cave, he came out of this cave and he wanted to do something commemorative to the community he lived with. So he asked, what is there to do? So he was told that there was a field where there's a suffix that there might be a dead body there, buried, and the Kohanim don't want to walk there because they might get tumid. They have to walk around the field. It takes, it's a burden. Omar, Reb Shimon ben Yochai said, is there any person still alive that remembers that this field had a chazaka of tahara, that it was, at one point, the field was a good field? Omar le'ahu Saba. The old person told him, Kan Kitzetz ben Zakkai Truma se Truma, that Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai had planted like turnips, even though they were from Truma. I think Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai was a Kohen, and if he planted turnips, there must be that the field was a Torah field. Ovad Iyunami Hachi. So Reb Shimon ben Yochai did like an experiment. He dug around in the field. Wherever the dirt was very hard, so it was clear that the person probably was not buried there. So Tare, he put simonim that this is a place that is Torah, and the Kohanim can walk there. Everywhere where the field was soft, Sinai Monet Siyun there, to prevent it from, and this is and by the way, this is a new thing, just like Reb Shimon ben Yochai described Yaakov Avinu when he came to Shechem, that he created something new, either a minted coin or a market or a bathhouse. What that means is this was a new innovation in humanity. So here as well, this concept of making sure that a field is tahor and marking it, that was started now by Reb Shimon ben Yochai. For example, if you drive around in the Galil, in Eretz Yisrael, you'll find, many places where there's a marker. Here is buried Rav Tarfon, or here is buried. Of course, we have Yonasan ben Uziel, or Rav Meir, Amuka. We have different places where that they say the Ariya Kadosh, when he lived in Tzfat, he Baruch HaKodesh went around. Somebody needs to mute their thing.
I have it. What do you?
So this was a new thing. Amar Usaba. Tier ben Yochai besa kvaros. How can Rav Shimon ben Yochai be metayar a cemetery? Amar lo, the Mala lo yisei manu. If you were not with us, Rafilo yisei manu v'lo you weren't counted among us. Yafa ata oimer. This is this Yehuda ben Geiri, right, who told the story to the Romans. That means prostitutes want their colleagues to also look good. So they'll put cosmetics on the other zonos. Talmidei Chachamim should not behave in the same way, that they should help each other.
That is the weirdest comparison.
Right. It's a weird comparison, but it wants to say that Talmidei Chachamim are going to always be mucha, they're going to be ready to help each other, just like the zonos help each other. Why he came up with that imagery is Kenny is correct. It's strange. So he put his eye on the guy and he died. Nafik l'shuka chazi l'Yehuda ben Gerim. That was the old man who made like a negative comment. So now Nafik l'shuka chazi l'Yehuda ben Gerim, when Rav Shimon ben Yochai went into the market or went into the pub, in the market, he saw who was Yehuda ben Gerim? He was the guy who was malshin to the Roman government that Rav Shimon ben Yochai had said that, everything that the Romans did, they had done for themselves. So he said, this guy's still alive? He put his eye on him, and the guy turned into a pile of bones. His flesh deteriorated immediately like a mace. Okay. A balabai is supposed to announce in his home 3 things. As Shabbos is coming in, they have to do it quickly. Because if they do it while it's still light, that means we're going to see im chashecha means bein hashmoshes. Because if he still does it, if he did it mibod yom, says Rashi, they'll be lazy because they'll say, there's still time to do these things. So you've got to say this at the end. Isartem, that means, have you made sure that the produce, the tevel produce, has had trumas and maasros taken from it, because you can't do that on Shabbos. A ravtem, have you made an eruv chatzeros or an eruv tchumim? Because that also has to be done before Shabbos starts. And idlik wasaner. Have you lit the Shabbos candles? Now, sofik chasecha, sofik ein chasecha, which means bein hashmashos, ein ma'at, because we don't. It's bein hashmashos is the interval after shkia sachama, when the sun sets, and Pesach Chavim l'chura, when night is for sure. So this period of time is a suffix yom, suffix laila. And that's why, for example, if a child is born bein hashmashos on going into Shabbos, we don't do the Mila the following Shabbos, even though because Mila Bismano is Doicha Shabbos, it's got to be Vadai born on Shabbos. If it's born bein hashmashos going into Shabbos, maybe it's Friday. So the child would have to be gemalt on Sunday, not on Shabbos, because it's a soft thing. So therefore, in bein hashmashos, ein ma'asrines avadai. If we know that grain has not had trumas and maasros taken from it, we don't. So since it's a vadai that it needs trumas and maasros taken, so we don't do it bein hashmashos because it's a suffix that it might be Shabbos already, and you're not allowed to do that on Shabbos. Ve'ein matbilan sakelim. You cannot take a tamei kli and put it in a mikvah, because that's an av malach of mesakein mana. The kli can't be used unless you toivel it. So it's tikkun mana that's an aver on Shabbos. Since bein hashmashos is suffix Shabbos, you can't do it. Ein madlik in the saneros. And of course, you can't light a candle at that time. You got to do it before bein hashmashos. Aval, ma'asrin esadmai, you're allowed to take meiser. Remember, if you buy produce from an amaretz, Chachamim made a zera because it was in doubt whether they gave trumas and maasros. So Chachamim said you have to give trumas and maasros for anything you buy from an amaretz. So this is only sofek, because maybe it has been given. So that you're allowed to do bein hashmashos. Uma'arvin, and you can make an eruv. V'toinin es achamim. You can bury in the ground hot food in order to retain its heat. You can do that bein hashmashos. Okay, now the Gemara is going to start analyzing this Mishnah, which is a complicated Mishnah. Not a milli. How do we know that a person has to say these things? Levi Omrakra, V'yodata ki shalom o alecha. You should make sure that you're in your tent is peace. Ufakarata navcha v'lo sechta. You should be take care that there's not going to be any sin in your house. So you have to make sure that you make these announcements. Even though you have to say these, you don't say it like a command. You say it in a nice way. So that your wife and the other people in your home will accept it nicely. So Rav Ashi said, I never heard that halacha directly, but I did it for my own logic, that if you say it in a very harsh way, nobody will accept what you say. Okay. Hagufa Kasha, the Mishnah seems to be internally contradictory. Amrit, you started off by saying by saying you have to announce three things. Erev Shabbos and Chashecha. Implying in Chashecha in Sofik Chashecha, Sofik in Chashecha lo. That means you shouldn't do it bein hashmashos. Means you have to do it mibod yom. You have to do it while it's still day, when you have the rishus to be masakin, all these things. The Hodar Tani, and then later on in the Mishnah it says, Sofik Chashecha, Sofik in Chashecha ma'are. Well, I thought you told me, tell the people to make a raftem, so you have to do it already mibod yom. So which is it? So Siman, Begufe Zimrat Sifra B'Chavla de Milsa. This is a siman for the next sugyas. It's not a contradiction. Kan be'eruv tchumim. So in the Tchum Shabbos, you may not walk more than 2,000 ames outside of your city. If you want to go beyond that, you have to lay down an eruv, a food, in that place. So basically you establish domicile there. So you could go another 2,000 ames from that location. Now, Erev Tchumin, there's already a Smach Min Torah. So that you have to do when it's Mibod Yom. When you can't do that Bein Hashmashos. But Kan, when they said you could do it Bein Hashmashos, that's Be'eruv Chatzeros. Eruv Chatzeros which is more lenient. It's not for sure midaraisa, it's rabbinic. I think Shlomo Melech was Masakin Eruv. Eruv Chatzeros is like if you live in an apartment building with 20 other Jews. So even though each apartment is a Rishus HaYachid, and you're allowed to move something from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaYachid, Chachamim made a gzeira, since there's more than one Rishus HaYachid there, you get confused and it looks like a public Rishus HaRabim. So they made a takana that everybody has to contribute $1, and then they buy a loaf of bread with that $1, and they put that loaf of bread in one of the apartments. And it's like that apartment becomes the master for all 20 apartments. So it's like one Rishus HaYachid. So then you can carry into the public areas, like into the courtyard, and you can go into other people's Rishus. That's the din of Erev Chatzeros. That was not Midoraisa. That had been established later. And therefore, you can already do that Bein Hashmashos. So two people told the person, go make an Erev for me. For one of the people, he laid the Eruv when it was still daytime. The other one, he did it Bein Hashmashos. So Zeshi Erev Alav Mibad Yom, the one that had the Eruv laid down before Bein Hashmashos, and let's say his Eruv got eaten up, Bein Hashmashos wasn't there anymore. And the other one that laid it down Bein Hashmashos, it got eaten up only on Shabbos. Shneim Konui Eruv. The Eruv works for both of them. Manusha. Ben Hashmoshes Yamamahu. Because if Ben Hashmoshes is day, so Basra Likni, Kamala Likni. The second guy was Koine because, and Kamala Likni. The first guy who did it Mibod Yom is not Koine Eruv. Because the guy's Eruv got eaten up already in the day before Ben Hashmoshes came. And the Eruv has to be present or extant Ben Hashmoshes. And Vin Ben Hashmoshes Lailahu, if Ben Hashmoshes is night, Kamal Likni, Basrallah Likni. Then only the first guy's Eruv was coined. Because Ben Hashmoshes Sveikahu, who's Sveikat Rabbanan Lakula will go lenient both ways. And that's the halacha. That if it was laid down by two different people, it's all Sveikat Rabbanan Lakula, and we will allow the Eruv to be considered a proper Eruv. So once it's Shabbos, afilu b'dover she'ena mosei hevel. So the laws of Hatmana is you're taking let's say a trulent and you're burying it into the ground. Now, even if you put it into the ground, bury it among material, for example, wool, which doesn't add heat to it. You're not allowed to do it once Shabbos starts, even something that does not add heat. It's a gzeira, shema yartiach, because we're concerned that you're going to come and make the pot boil even on Shabbos, and you're going to be over the inyan of bishul. So why do we say only once Shabbos starts you can't do hatmana, even if it's in a mosif hevel? Now, we should make the same gzeira bein hashmoshes, and yet the din is that we're not choishes to be matmin something that is not mosif hevel bein hashmoshes. And for the Gemara, Amalei stam k'teres rois choisei. Listen, normally, the moment you take a pot off the stove, it's rotea, it's bubbling. Now at night, it's already cooled off. So we're not worried about shema yartiach because it's already being martiach ben hashmoshes. You just took it off the fire. At night, when it's already cooled off, you're concerned that we're going to start it up again. Hamarava. Not only that, there's a gzeira. You're not allowed to bury your hot shulin in some material that adds heat, like dung, manure, pitch. That you can't do even while it's still daytime. The reason we don't do that is we're concerned he's going to bury it in mamish coals, and he's going to come to stir the coals on Shabbos, and that will lead to bishul.
What's the big deal? You're allowed to leave a pot on a stove, even though it's fully cooked, and you can take it off and have it on Shabbos.
No, so it's got to be cooked l'maychel ben drusoy. It's got to be cooked to a certain degree.
But even if you leave food on an open flame, you leave a pot on the stove on Shabbos without a blech, you can still take it off on Shabbos and cook it. And eat it. No. Well,
that's why there's the gzeira of the blech. We're going to see. We're going to have a perak hatmana. We're going to learn these dinim. Like Rashi says, you can't leave something you can't bury something in something that adds heat, because come nightfall, but our din is that our chont is already bishul kol tzorcha. Once it's Michael ben Drusoy, it's considered kol tzorcha, and therefore we don't worry that the person is going to come to stir it up because it's already been cooked to its full degree. That's why we can do it, because here we're talking about, the Gemara is talking about a case where the food has not been cooked fully. Gazru off bebisha called sorchat sheyigraf or sheyiktam. Now there's a din, you could do it as long as you do giruf or kitum, which means covering the oven. That's the din of the blech. That by bishul called sorcho, we also make exam. We don't leave it on something that adds heat until yigraf or yiktam. So by covering it with the blech, that is the takana to allow you to do that. As long as you covered your thing, as long as the food has reached its full kol tzorcho by mibod yom, you can do it. So this Rashi is very important. This is the din of our blech, but it's going to come back, Kenny. We're going to learn it in detail. Here we just mentioned it in passing. Says the Shulchan Aruch, we don't bury something, or even in the daytime, in something that adds heat. But we'll see if it's cooked called tzorcho, and you've had giru fikitum, which we fulfill that by covering our flame with a blech, then you're allowed to do it. Okay. Torah Rabban. And we will go into that much more in detail later on. We'll have a whole parak of Hatmana. And there we will see these dinim. Torah Rabban ben Hashmosh is Safek ben Yom in Alayla. So ben Hashmosh, the definition is it's a Safek Yom, Safek Layla. Safek Kulam in Ayom, Safek Kulam in Alayla. Therefore, Matil no Solo Chomer Shnei Yomim. We give it a chumrah of both days. What's Bezo Ben Hashmoshos? Now, we'll see what that chumrah is soon. We treat it as if it's 2 days, in a sense. So we're going to bring for example, a zav is a male that has a seminal emission. Now, if he sees 2 seminal emissions in the same day, he's already considered a zav min Torah, and he's tamei 7 days. He's tamei, he has to count zayin nikiyim, but he doesn't bring a korban. If he sees 3 times in one day, then he's a zav and he has to bring a korban. This Gemara is going to tell us that if a zav saw 1 re'iyah, ben hashmoshois, it's considered that he saw it in 2 days. It's 2 re'iyos, because it's as if he saw it the day before and tonight. And therefore, he's already chayiv. He's already has a din of a zav and has to count zayin nikiyim, even though he only had 1 re'iyah. That's the chumrah here of ben hashmoshois, safek min alayla, safek min hayom. Be'ezer ben hashmoshois. Now, what defines ben hashmoshois? So it's a major machlokas tanoi. The Tanna Kama says, Mishatishka Chama, once you have sunset, Kozman Shepnei Mizrach Madimim, if you look eastward, it's reddish, and Hichsifa Tachton Lo Hichsifa Elyon, and the bottom is already darkening, but not the top, that's Ben Hashmoshes. Hichsifa Elyon B'Hishva Tachton, now the top is also darkening, Zeu Laila, Div Rabbi Yehuda. He says it's a time factor. The amount of time it takes you to walk a half a mile after Shkia. Rabbi Yossi Omer ben Hashmosh is Geher of Ayin. Rabbi Yossi says no, it's in a second. Zen nichnas v'zeh yotzei. V'yef shalom alallah. We don't really know when it is. When it changes from day to night. It's in a second. And we can't really calculate that period of time. Amar Mar. Matil and also we said that since Ben Hashmosh it's a Safek Yom, Safek Laila, we give it chumras of 2 days. What's the nafkamina practically? Amar Rav Yishuli in Tuma. Kedetnan Rosh Na Yom Ben Hashmosh is if he saw 1 re'iyah, Ben Hashmosh is Safek L'Tuma L'Korban. It's Safek L'Tuma. Now, if he saw, let's say, the day let's say before Ben Hashmashos and one Re'iyah Ben Hashmashos, there would be even a suffix korban because maybe the Re'iyah that he had Ben Hashmashos is considered two, so he might have to bring a korban. Ro Yomecha Ben Hashmashos suffix l'tuma, and like we said, if he sees one Re'iyah Ben Hashmashos, it's considered like two Re'iyos. Two Re'iyos, he gets full tumah of 7 days, and he wouldn't bring a korban because you don't bring a korban only unless you saw 3 Re'iyos. Okay. The Gemara says Hagufa Kasha. Again, the baraisa that you brought in this Machlokes Ben Hashmashos is internally contradictory. Amret, you said, Ezeu Ben Hashmashos Mishatishka Chama. When is Ben Hashmashos? When the sun set. And we said Kozman Shepnei Mizrach Madim. The east sky is still red. If the bottom, which implies that if the bottom is dark but not the top, it's Laila. So it's internally contradictory. Amrav Yud Amar Shmuel, Kroch Utani. No, this has to be learned in a Kroch Utani manner, where you add a word. Ezeu Ben Hashmashos. What is Ben Hashmashos? Mishatishka Chama Kozman Shuknei Mizrach Madim. And the Hichsif Atachton V'lo Hichsif Ha'elyon Nami Ben Hashmashos. And if the top part is not dark, it's still Ben Hashmashos. Now Hichsif Ha'elyon V'yishval Atachton. Now the upper part is dark and light. And Rav Yosef Rav Yomar Shmuel Achiktoni. He says this is a different way of learning. Mishatishka Chama Kozman Shuknei Mizrach Madimim Yom. When you look eastward, you still see it's reddish. It's daytime. Only the bottom is dark and not the top. Light. If the top is not dark, then it's light. And these Mandamram are consistent with their previous shitas. Shiur ben Hashmashos bekama. What's this man in ben Hashmashos? Amrav Avinu Shmuel. Shlosha chelkei mil, 3/2 milli. Now, what's my shlosha chelkei mil? Ilema tlosa pagei mila. If you mean 3/2 meals, why didn't you say name a mil umechza, a mil and a half? Ela tlosa tilse mila. You mean 3/3 of a mila. Name a meal. So say 3 times 1/3 is 1. So say 1 meal. Ela tlosa rive mila. What it means is 3/4 of a meal. Rav Yosef Rav Yudam Shmuel, Shnei Chelkei Mil, 2/2 meals. Now, my Shnei Chelkei Mil, Ilema Trei Pagi Mila, 2/2 meals, Lema Mil. Ela Trei Rive Mili. So maybe it means 2/4. You have a fourth, and you have to times it by 2. Lema Chatzi Mil. Well, 2 times 1/4 is the half a mil. Ela Trei Tilsi Mil. We mean 2/3 of a mil. Might be nayu. It could be nayu. What's the difference between 2/3 and 3/4? 1/6. It could be nayu Pagi Dedanka, which is 1/6. Mario, I'm going to tape a little bit of Lamed He